We have a huge problem. Some people know me for doing a wee bit of this, a wee bit of that, and a wee bit of this. Travelling the length and breadth of the country, capturing the history, the mystery and the beauty of Ireland. But on Sunday the 1st of May 2022, things took a turn for the worse, ending up in the hands of the NHS's finest. So began a full evaluation of life and how to turn my dream into a reality. This is my journey, how I got from here to here.
Welcome to Donegal! Gee, man.
We have a huge problem. I feel like I've been hit by an exorcist missile. So today is January the 16th, 2024. And for anybody who has been following the van build, I hope you have been enjoying it. However, I have had a bombshell completely dropped on me from great heights. And it is this. There is a little bit of rust on the sliding door channel. It's only a tiny bit of rust. It's at each corner, but what I've discovered is, in order to get the rust sorted out, I have to take off the whole bedroom panel. There is screws, bolts, whatever they are, in behind it on the interior side of the van. Because when I put the wall up, filled the holes in, I did not expect this. This has been an absolute bombshell. I am absolutely gutted. So I've stripped the van down, the kitchen and all is out, the bed is out, everything is basically stripped down for the winter. So I've went over all the old footage from when I was putting on the dodo mat onto the bedroom window. And right enough, there's 4 or 5 bolts. They are the bolts that hold the door channel on. I need to get to them in order to get them off, to get the door channel off, to get in behind it cleaned up. And in order for me to do that, the whole bedroom wall has to come off. I am gutted. The intentions in January were to sort of bling the air guard out of it, put all the rest of the things in, and then I discovered that basically you can bite the bullet, take the wall down and do it right, or you can go along the channel on the exterior, find where the holes were, drill through them, and then fill them and replace them. I didn't like that option, because all you're doing there is just creating more work, creating more hassle, and you're breaking the seal from the outside. So I have no other option but to bite the bullet and rip this wall off. That's the only way to do it, and do it right. Because if I don't, 6 months down the line, I could have a lot of more problems. Basically, the van's got a disease. When I put the van wall on, I drilled them in, and I sunk the holes a wee bit, and then covered it over with that wood filler. So if I can look here hard enough, I'm just hoping that you can see sort of the outmarks of where the screws went in. So what I was thinking was this: if that's the size of the screw head that's holding on the walls, and that's the hole saw, if I can drill over the head of the screw, the van wall should come off straight away. When I go to put them back on again, I'll be able to fit them on completely where it was, drill 4 or 5 new holes for new screws, then go over that with a wood filler and do it all again the way I'd done it before. It is a pain in the arse, but it has to be done. That rust could spread the whole way over the van, and that means everything I've put into it and everything I've done has been for a waste of time. So that's the plan. It has to come down, the bedroom wall has to come down, and there's no other way around it. So I have found the holes. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a pilot hole with a 2mm drill bit. I'm going to try and find the centre of the hole. Then I'll drill around it with the hole saw bit. So I'll drill the bigger hole with the hole saw and hopefully the bedroom wall will just come off. Then we can get access to the screws or the bolts that's in behind that. They're right here. There's no other way around it. So I'm going to try and make as less mess as possible, because I don't want to go through the whole rigmarole of getting another bit of plywood, cutting in the edges, filing it all down, and creating a new bedroom wall. So that's my plan. This is what I'm doing, and we'll see how it goes.
So it turns out these things are a little bit harder to find than I first thought. And let's face it, my eyesight is not great at the best of times, so I decided to change tactics. I upped the hole saw bit to 38mm and started at the bottom, as I can sort of get my fingers in behind the wall and have a better idea of where these things actually are. It's like trying to find Lord looking, for Christ's sake.
Oh, there we go. And there's the screw right there. I'm just wondering, can I get that out? Chance my arm and see if I can get this bad boy. Oh my god, it is coming. There we go. Now, if they were all as easy as that, we would be home on a boat. So that is the procedure. So this is the procedure. I'm going to try and do the whole way around and try and find these holes. Oh yes, look at that. Brilliant. Oh, that'll come off alright. That'll definitely come off that one. Right, one down, about 16 to go. The plan is to drill fresh holes beside it with fresh screws to put it back on, fill them in with the proxy and go over it again with the paint. I've managed to find a wee bit of old batting, so I've drawn a line where I think the battens are, because I can get my fingers just about in behind that to give me some sort of an idea of where the actual batten is behind it. And that's the reason why I went up to a 38mm hole saw, to give me that better chance. Right, that is the plan. Let's get this guy in my belly. Maybe not. Maybe not. Come on, my son. Come on. Yeah. It's only not. Okay. Come on, Papa. Come on. Yes. There's the bottom bit off. Oh, there we go. There's the bottom of it off.
So working my way around the bedroom wall, I finally got the wall off and finally got access to the sliding door bolts.
Oh, there's a cable down in behind it. What an absolute dirty job. These are the culprits in here. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one. That is the screws that we need to get at. To get that channel off, to get that wee bit of rust fixed. Right along there. Well, one thing about it, it's completely dry. That is completely dry. There's not a freaking bit of moisture anywhere. That is completely dry. The state of my beloved bedroom wall. So on the off chance that someone is following this van build, before you put the dodo mat on the windows, the screws that down here, make sure you take them off and make sure that they're not all rusty, or you're going to have to do the exact same thing that I did.
So now that I have access to the panel, and using a sharp snap-off blade knife, or whatever they're called, something that you're going to be able to cut around the bolts with, something nice and flimsy, in order to get a socket onto them, just to loosen them. A 10mm socket will be required to take these bolts off.
Wow, look at the rust behind that.
So this is what it looks like when you remove the actual door channel. This is what lies behind it. It is stinking, absolutely stinking, full of grit, all that sort of bad stuff. And here's the rust I need to get to. All that for this. So I'll give it a good wash down with our old dear friend, the degreaser. I then give the bits with rust a light rub over with metal sandpaper, just to remove any loose bits of rust, and went over it with a wire wheel. I then applied this Hammerite Kurst rust remover. And the way this stuff works is you treat the rust area and gradually it turns a purple light bluish colour, and that is how you know it's working. I think it takes roughly 15 or 20 minutes. I then went over the rust areas again with a wire wheel. I masked up the channel and went over the areas with Hammerite. It doesn't have to be pretty. Remember, what I'm trying to do is stop the spread of rust and treat the affected areas until the time comes to get it professionally sprayed. I gave it one coat and covered it just in case it rained. So the next day I gave it a light sanding and one more coat of Hammerite. I allowed it to dry and gave it one more cleaning down with the old degreaser. The door rail itself, I gave a good cleaning down with degreaser and hot soapy water. Then a good going over with a wire brush and some wire wool, and did the exact same thing for the actual bolts. And to prevent this from happening again, I got an old bicycle tube, cut it into wee squares, drilled a hole in the middle and placed them over the bolts so that nothing would rub up against the actual panel. The double layer of tubing was a bit too thick, so I had to remove the door channel once again and cut them into single layers. When you're replacing the door rail, start with the actual bolt that is in the bit where the handle is, then the bolt that's furthest away at the other end of the van. Don't tighten them completely, as you'll need all the other bolts to slot in perfectly. Then you can tighten everything together. But before you tighten everything completely, run a strip of masking tape right along the edge of the door rail and a strip of masking tape where the rail meets the van panel, as a layer of Sikaflex will be needed just to stop any rain or water running down the back of the channel again. So now that everything is tight and secure, run that bead of Sikaflex along the channel rail. Give it a generous amount because you're going to try and fill any wee gaps that may appear between the rail and the van panel. Then dip your fingers in a bowl of hot soapy water. Run your fingers along it, creating a nice long smooth finish to the Sikaflex. Finally, remove the masking tape, and to be honest, I wasn't bothered if I got a smooth finish or not, because this process is going to have to be repeated again when the van is actually sprayed, and that's the smooth finish that will bother me if I don't get it right. So with all that said and done, you should end up with something like this. Not bad at all.